Peace, family. So I'm back with another one, you know what I'm saying? So today what I want to do is talk to my chosen ones and target individuals about the enemy, the opposition. They will never take accountability. Ever. Never. So I had a recent example, because the way I feel like my life is set up, I don't know about everybody else's, but once you enter my life, you become a part of my story. So if you're coming into my life and becoming a part of my story, you should be trying to leave the best impact you could possibly leave, which I understand that's not always the case, which is why we have this spiritual war going on now. But for me, I've always been a person that took accountability for my own actions and shit that I've done in the positions I put myself in. You know what I'm saying? Me personally. But it was a situation recently that made me think about, it doesn't matter how much time and space you take away from these beings or how long they stay ghosted. Like, they still on that same witchy ass vibe. They still on that same low vibrational ass frequency. Like, me and my big bro don't talk much, but I've been my big bro my life, you know what I'm saying, on my sperm donor side. So me and him talked recently. I've been staying in the same place for damn near 4 years. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely moving this year, but I've been staying in the same space. Okay, so before I get to there, it just reminded me, okay, I can't skip this step because it's huge, because it just shows our powers and our abilities as chosen ones. We're targeted because we're chosen. Alright, so my brother was an architect major, and his wife was, or is, a lawyer out there on Wall Street. And they lived over there on like Rector and Wall, literally right on fucking the middle of Manhattan, where all the fucking stock exchange banks and all that shit is, all that weird shit. You know what I'm saying? But as an architect major, you would think somebody who went to school for these things, they would be taking something up in that field. But he's not. You know what I'm saying? And the crazy thing is like, I've always been spiritually protecting my siblings, my moms. I used to send energy to my pops when I called him that, until I realized you have to earn these motherfucking titles. I'm a dad, a father, and I put the fucking work in for this title. So I don't care about anybody coming on my page telling me I need to give somebody some respect that you don't even know my motherfucking situation. Alright, so we gonna scratch that shit there. But it's like, he was situated extremely well. Architect major, lawyer. Nobody around this motherfucker was like reaching their highest potentials. They wasn't getting great assistance from him. He was positioned, and he made one statement a couple years ago that made me think about how much accountability they will never take. And he said, like, he was like, hey bro, he said, you would be fire if you just had the finances behind you. That's the only thing you're missing. And he said that because he already knew spiritually, I've been his little bro my whole life. He's 2 years older than me. I've always been stronger than him. I've always been fucking faster than him. I just always followed him because he's my big bro. But it was like, he said these things because he knew that I had that sauce, and he couldn't figure out how to get it. And that's been my big bro my whole fucking life. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't figure out how to get the sauce. We had a falling out over some witchy shit. He decided to leave some music equipment and all this shit to his step brothers when I'm his real brother, and he knew all the work that I've been fucking putting in. I went all the way up to New York, North Carolina. I'm traveling. I'm making the beats. I'm recording the artists. I'm shooting the videos. I'm doing the edits to the videos. I'm also doing the promo clips. I'm doing all of this shit. everything. And that was the last turning point where I realized, like, all right, I see what team he's on. That's what let me know what team he's on. So from there, understanding what team he was on had led me to a space to where I just removed myself from his energy. We didn't live together already anyway, so it was easy to kind of remove myself from his energy. So to the accountability, I had to give you a little breakdown and rundown, just very simplified so you can kind of get an understanding, because I talked about following a couple videos ago, and I definitely used to follow my fucking brother. I'll never say nothing like, oh, I didn't, because at that time I had a lot of respect for him. So it was completely different in my world. You know what I'm saying? But when he made the comment about the money thing, that one struck me. But then after that is when all the shit started happening, where he wanted to leave all the equipment for the music, who was going to do the record label. He wanted to leave it all to somebody who didn't have the sauce like me, who wasn't putting in the work that I was putting in. So I was like, cool, all right, I fell back from it or whatever. Recently, me and him started communicating again. He telling me he moved to Florida, blah, blah, blah. Right after me and him had talked, because we had took a long period of break. And it was like that last time we had talked on the phone changed the vibes from everything. And not the last time, but the time before I talked to him recently. So I just talked to him again recently, which I'm going to get to, which brings me to the accountability. But when I talked to him the last time, that's when I removed my spiritual protection. Like I was saying earlier, I've always spiritually protected all my siblings, my moms, anybody that was close to me. I've always spiritually protected them. Soon as I removed my spiritual protection from him, he was in the process of going through a divorce right away. Whole life changed. I meant immediately. So, and instead of him being like, hey, look, bro, like, what, what's the vibes? What can I do to kind of do something about my situation? I already knew he was not going to take any accountability for all the witchy shit he already had did to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was around when I took my BM to court for trying to keep my daughter from me. I don't play that shit. I took full accountability. Hey, bitch, you not answering the phone. I'm not going to play this game with you. I'm going straight to the courthouse. Look, I don't give a fuck about you enough to be dancing around like that. No, sir. I care about my mini. Better put some respect on it. But it was like that spiritual protection removed and his whole life shifted. We talked again recently, and it was like I was telling him everything that I have going on. He's like, yeah, I see your numbers. There's something blah, blah, blah going up. Some shallow shit, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate the numbers, but that's not the big thing. I really enjoy getting this message out. But it was more so like, oh, you thought you was special, or we all got that in us. We all had that in us since we was little. And I'm in a completely different spiritual space, so I had to correct that shit right away. No, the fuck we are not. You seen my sauce since I was little, but you don't have the same sauce. That's why you never been a stand-up nigga, and you don't stand on shit. And your ass is falling for everything. You got an architect major, but you're trying to get your CDL license to drive. That means you did what Kevin Samuels said these females do. Like, you went and got a PhD, a useless shit, a useless degree, bachelor's degree, and then didn't even fucking put it to use. So we started talking, and it was like, he before we got off the phone, because he hung up on me this last time, it was like, he said, I talk too much. And I laughed, because I was like, it's crazy, because the point in my life I'm in now, I actually do more talking. But he always known me to be a fighter and not a talker. I don't do that shit. So I knew it was him not wanting to take accountability. And accountability happened in the story because we was just catching up. We haven't talked in a while. So he was talking, he mentioned a couple things about what he got going on. He get his kids every weekend, blah, blah, blah. And I was telling him about my shit that I got going on. And I also had my daughter at the time. And I also just picked up my niece. So I'm always in the mix. I'm make sure the kids is gonna have a bond. If I have any kind of say so in it, I'm gonna make sure they bond. But it was like that last time it was on the phone, and before he hung up and he said I talk too much, it was like he only got to this space to saying I talk too much or I talk about others is because I spent the first 10 to 15 minutes of the phone call talking about myself. I spent the first 10, 15 minutes of the phone call talking about myself. He was talking as well, a little bit about himself, but me personally, I spent the first 10, 15 minutes talking about myself. So as the phone call was progressing, and we're still on the phone, I started just speaking of my future. So my future had some kind of connection to my past, and I was trying to correlate the two together. But because I also mentioned his role he had in my story, that's where he went to the over talking me and not wanting to hear me talk, and didn't want to take accountability for what the fuck has been going on in his role. You know what I'm saying? Like, I laid out my whole blueprint. He see what the fuck I'm doing. I've always stood on my own 2 feet, whether motherfuckers vibe with me or not. I don't give a fuck. I know how to fight. You gonna have to show me. That's how I always carried it. And the reason I say it that way is because I'm a masculine male, so I don't have to worry about hitting women. But men, we already know when we engage with each other, it's a possibility shit gonna get exchanged. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I'm just always ready for all the smoke. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about all the weapons and all that shit. Those are always accessible too, but I know how to use these. I grew up using these, you know what I'm saying? And it didn't affect me that much, you know what I'm saying? I'm still alright out here. But they will never fucking take accountability. It was just mind-blowing. Like, bro, we haven't talked in forever, and even just reflecting on some shit that we cannot change. We cannot change the past. So we use the past as a place of reflection, healing, learning, and growing. We don't use that shit to go dwell in, to sit in, or go jump off this motherfucking cliff right here. Like, that's not what it's used for. But the way they energy works, and because they don't know how to vibrate any higher, they just don't have access. They don't have access. This has been my brother for my whole life. He's 2 years older than me. I know he just don't have access to these other frequencies that I do. That's why I've always outshined this motherfucker. You've been married, you done had big ass jewelry, you on Wall Street, you're baller blocking, you doing all this shit. I'm fucking grinding, struggling, going through my own shit and still elevating. You put no assistance over here, which you don't have to. Respect. But when I removed that protection, motherfucker, your ass started going down this way, and I continued to go up this way. You know what I'm saying? And that all comes from just being a stand-up being. You know what I'm saying? You always stand on yours. It may not be working for you right now in your life. If you're a youngin' and you fucking 15, 16, 17, it may not be working for you, but you keep standing on your shit another 5, 6, 7 years, it's all going to equate. That's what you're doing. You're making extremely strong roots. You know what I'm saying? Because we are some of the most accountable beings that you will ever come across. We take so much accountability, we take other motherfuckers' accountability. You know what? I did give them a ride over there. They wouldn't have been in that situation. Like, come on, fuck all that. We take too much accountability, but it's all good because we have a bigger responsibility here. So we already know that we have a bigger responsibility. So that's another reason why I'm pretty sure that we tend to take others' accountabilities in that process as well too. You know what I'm saying? But they will never take accountability. I don't give a fuck who it is. Right now, I just gave an example of my motherfucking brother. I'm always gonna put my life out there because that's me. If motherfuckers don't want to be a part of my story, good or bad, then you have to stay away from this energy right here. That's all I can say. You know what I'm saying? And I like to be relatable. That's what helped me in my ascension and my growing path. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers I could relate to. I don't want to sit around and listen to somebody 24/7 and all I can see is fucking Gucci or Fendi, or they're constantly talking about clothing and designer and all that shit. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. Because when I did, it didn't make a difference anyways. It didn't affect who I was on the inside. You know, it gives you a little bit, oh, you fit in more with the robots. But at the end of the day, you get one scuff, scratch, rip, tear, anything. That shit is null and void now. Don't even have the same value on it anymore. That's why I don't weigh on that shit. And I've never even been a Jordans fan. I don't support that shit. There's plenty of other designers out here and shoes you could get besides all the zombies and robots wearing Jordans thinking that completes your fucking outfit. We gotta take more accountability. I do. So that's why I make sure when I present myself to the world, that is not what people are gonna motherfucking focus on. I have a vehicle. So why not have time and take space to come out and access shit like this for myself? Because I already do this meditating. Only thing I did was decided to bring the camera with me and start doing it that way. Anybody that knows me and knows me know that this is what I've been doing over the past couple years already. I just started bringing the camera with me now. You know what I'm saying? So just always be mindful and don't expect no accountability. Their frequency isn't moving anywhere past here. You know what I'm saying? That's about it. We can go here, and that's still more than they'll ever go, but we have access to shit that's infinite. Infinite, you know what I'm saying? We ain't gotta hold on to the same grudges. We don't hold on to none of that shit. We just remember the vibes, and you will not skate past us or ignore or motherfucking gaslight or do any of that other weird witchy shit. Don't try to talk over us and exclude us or knock out what the fuck we saying, because you already know we're making points and they're valid, and you just don't want to take accountability. You know what I'm saying? I ain't want to run it up too long, you know what I'm saying? Y'all tap into everything down below. It is beautiful out here. Matter of fact, what I'm going to do for y'all today, I'm going to bust this off the camera. I'm going to spin y'all around, get y'all a little view out here. Y'all see, we just come to the mountains to catch the vibes today. Tapping everything down below. Peace and love to the kings and queens.